Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it's Monday, and that means it's time for the Wrestling Inc. Monday Night Raw after show. And have we got a show for you? The Women's Elimination Chamber is all filled out. Drew McIntyre beat Cody Rhodes in Anaheim, California. The Bloodline is in your city. But before we get into all of that, let me introduce the crew. Justin LaBar and Jimmy Korderas with me, Jack Farmer. Jimmy, how are you, pal?
I'm jacked. What can I tell you? It's the road to WrestleMania, and they're pushing a lot of right buttons for me to get me hyped up for it. So you know, I'm excited. I really am.
So if you're
plus I found this shirt as well. So this old classic, which really, you know, got me going today.
So if you're Jack, am I Jimmy?
You're Jimmy.
Oh, you're Jack. Duh. Oh, okay.
Jack. Duh. Well, not that kind of jacked, but hey.
Right. I don't know. You've been hitting the weight room.
How's that?
Yeah. You talk about the stories here. RDX 200 saying finish the story. We'll talk all about that going forward. But Justin, how have you been, pal? How's your life treating you since the last time I saw you?
All good here. Yeah, it's road to WrestleMania. Exciting times. Here with you guys tonight. Came off of an exciting Sunday of Busted Open with my partner in crime there, Jonathan Hood. So a lot of wrestling to be had, a lot of wrestling to be talked. It's all good.
I've got a little question for you, Justin. A little pre-show question, and everyone, this will be maybe the question of the day. So if you want to hop into the comments after the show's up, let me know your answer. I was just thinking this. We may actually see a rivalry reheated with Triple H and The Rock. Power struggle kind of situation. I'm talking about like on TV. I'm not talking about all the backstage stuff. But we might see them actually have a bit of a power struggle. If that happens, and this becomes a featured part of the show, does Triple H versus The Rock get into the running of greatest rivalry? Is it part of that conversation after 20 years?
I mean, maybe you could try to. The tough thing is Triple H can't have a match. He can't. I don't even know if he can even take a bump. So, it's exciting to think about, and kind of based on what they've done. Logically, we should see Triple H and The Rock on TV here on the Road to Mania again at some odds of a power struggle, of authority, of respect. But at the end of the day, I mean, maybe Hunter can take like one back bump. I don't know. He can take a punch. I don't know. I don't know what he can do with his health condition. Nor is it worth risking. But it's possible that if those two get on a war of words on the mic, you can definitely call back and let people go back into Peacock and watch some of the classic matches they had.
Yeah, you got my wheels turning, man. You really got my wheels turning now. What if?
Do you want to see them have some kind of power play against each other?
That would be cool, and we already know that Rock can do stuff in the ring as he's been training for WrestleMania, so we know he can go. And it's a little different training-wise as opposed to going out there and getting the reps in actual matches, but at the same time, he is getting reps in the gym and in the ring. Hunter, like Justin said, we don't know his physical capabilities of actually having a match. Can he take a punch? Can he take a back bump? What if someone were to be his advocate, like an HBK? Can he go? Mm-hmm. Can Shawn Michaels still have one more match left in him?
We know old Stone Cold can come out and do some stunners, and
you never know. But there's at least you got the Bloodline versus DX kind of thing, and and Billy Gunn been too bad he's with AEW, but he's been drinking the magic formula. He looks fantastic, and he can still go and bring back a Road Dogg. You never know, Sean Waltman.
What the ironic turn of events if Stone Cold comes back to fight on behalf of the Authority, ran by Triple H, to defend the WWE from someone like The Rock. That's some long-term storytelling. That's an interesting turn. Who would have thought back in 2000 that could possibly be a situation that would make sense and we'd want to see. I would absolutely love to see Stone Cold come back. I'd like to see them all. I'm a big advocate. I always want to see one more match. Obviously, I want people to be healthy and not there are certain things like you got to stay out of the ring. But man, if it's safe for them to do so, I want to see them all come back. I love getting to see legends back in the ring and doing it.
Well, you look at you look at WrestleMania 18. Could Hogan really go like he used to back in the day? No, but him and Rock got the people excited, man. That is an iconic moment in WrestleMania history. Them two just standing there facing each other, and the place they blew the roof off the place. And I snuck out into the crowd because I didn't want to watch it backstage on a monitor. I wanted to feel that energy out in the arena. So I went into the tech area that's out in front of the stage and stood there and listened to it and felt that energy. I got goosebumps now just thinking about it.
See, and that's why I always wanted to get, John Cena versus Stone Cold, because those would be that'd be the next dream match in terms of flag bearers. And same thing with Mania 18, like you said, Jimmy. Cena and Austin don't have to do a whole lot. I always thought that they don't have to do much. They don't have to really. We'll probably never get it at this point, but I always thought, man, that's another one that would have been great to have.
Yeah. Dylan Matthews says WrestleMania 18 is my favorite. That match, that Hogan Rock match is my favorite of all time too, and I've got a whole bunch of reasons for it, but I won't get into it today.
Jerry Lawler says it was his favorite to call commentary on.
I mean, yeah, that one was just special. Hopefully we get another one. We might have one in a couple months, so that's actually kind of crazy. But everyone who's with us here today, thank you so much for joining us. Remember to like, comment, share, subscribe. If you're a lurker, I want to shout out to all of you. If you're No Way, Ricky, Dylan, Masked Marvel, haven't seen Masked Marvel, Killer of Demons, RDX200, Goodfella, Steven, Ethan, Cool Gamer, Tommy, Daniel Barry, Brian Reyes, Beer Money, Adam Staples, Reaper Brink, Cleveland Rock, Sherrod Jones, Dustin Engel. We got a bunch of folks here. Gabriel Martinez, Megan, Stu Jersey. Great name, Stu Jersey. Doug Masters, Max Feldham, Tornado D5, T5, Casey J, Manish, all the way from India. What time, Manish, is Elimination Chamber going to be for you? It's going to be 2 a.m. for me. I don't know. That's going to be a rough one to watch live for your boy.
Just stay up.
There you go.
Yeah.
No point at that. At that point, it's just like a long night out.
You're used to DJing. I know you're up past midnight. Just stay up.
Yeah, so I probably will. No, what's going to happen is I'm like, I'm not going to stay up. And then I'll probably find myself staying up. And I'll be like, it's going to start soon. I'll just watch it, and then I'll watch the beginning, and then I'll end up watching the whole thing. It'll be like 5 a.m., and then I'm going to be like, great.
Well, Justin could watch it live at 5 a.m. and go straight into Busted Open from there. So, it's going to be interesting. You get that.
Well, it's 5 a.m. Saturday morning here, right?
Oh, Saturday morning. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'll have a whole day to recover until I got to get to.
There you go.
I feel bad for Denise and whoever's on the Saturday show because it's going to be just wrapping up as Busted Open goes on the air on Saturday.
Yeah, it's usually Mark. So
if it's her and Mark, she's on the West Coast, so for her it's 6 a.m. So whatever. But Chamber will be wrapping up when Busted Open goes live 9 a.m. Eastern time. So they'll just that's gonna be a tough task.
Well, like you said, for her, stay up.
Pretty much.
So we got some fun, interesting news to talk about. And this one, I definitely want everyone in the chat and in the comments to get active in. But there's an interview with Daniel Garcia on Busted Open Radio. And they're talking about the physical shape he was in. He said, I know I'm not in good wrestler shape, like huge. I know I'm in good shape. I can go and wrestle for 2 hours and be fine. I know I'm not jacked. Hey, jacked. We used that word earlier. Not that I want to be Hulk Hogan or anything, but I would like to get a little bit better shape for TV purposes. Started working with Cesar Bonini this New Year's. He works with a lot of people in AEW. He's a very good personal trainer, nutritionist. So I feel like that's one thing I'd like to work on. This, of course, is ahead of the fact that his contract is set to expire soon. He also said he wanted to work on his in-ring promos. And he's actually only 25, I believe it said, which is crazy. He's so young. So this got me thinking, and this got a lot of us at Wrestling thinking, would you like to see Daniel Garcia jump ship? And just for funsies, who are some people you would like to see jump ship from one company to the other? And I'm going to take this obviously to the chat as well. And again, to everyone who's in the comments, who are some people you'd like to see go from WWE to AEW or AEW to WWE? And let's have some fun with it. Obviously, I don't know, Justin, Roman Reigns would be the most interesting one, but like, what are some ones that you think would be maybe a little less far-fetched?
Well, I mean, that's a fun question, I guess. I mean, I guess with with who I'd fantasy book from AEW over to WWE, it's kind of like a Jade Cargill situation. Even though Jade's only had one match, it's kind of like, okay, AEW has the bigger roster, but they have the far less amount of they have TV, but they don't have a live event. So like a guy like Daniel Garcia saying this, I could see for him saying that, like, he wants to get more reps on the mic. He wants to get a little bit bigger. He wants to improve in every way. And Jimmy can attest to this. That comes with reps, and traditionally you get it via house shows. You just get it, every week, having 2, 3, 4 shows where you can go out there, cut a promo, do a match, but you don't have the constraints of and stress of TV times to follow. So, but AEW doesn't do that. And then even when you're at TV for AEW, you're fighting for a spot because there's a lot of talent. So Garcia in particular, if he's serious, if that's what he really wants, a move over to a WWE where they have a state-of-the-art performance center, and he'd quite honestly, he'd probably go to NXT first. That's just what they would do, I would imagine. I don't think he no disrespect to him, he's not a big enough name on the AEW TV where I think that he's like a guy you have to have show up on Raw or SmackDown right away. I think you could put him through the system and what have you. But other guys, I mean, look, guys and girls that you think that are underserved in AEW, Wardlow, right? You look at him, you're like, okay, if the WWE machine was behind him, what could that look like? And then the flip side, I mean, WWE has so much talent coming through the pipeline. I mean, I could picture a lot of them over in AEW in the sense of, they could hang and work a style there. It's hard for me to fantasy book anybody going WWE to AEW because you're just fighting for such a spot. And I know we've seen Hall of Famers like Edge go over and power too. If you can get a good paycheck and they have a spot for you, you can help the young guys. That's great. But it's hard for me to fantasy book a young guy or a girl going WWE to AEW. I can really only fantasy book a name who's been established in WWE. WWE no longer has a place for you at that spot in the card. And so you wanted to, just get a few, get one more contract. And I mean, and so you have to kind of pick a veteran, I don't know who off the top of my head, but that's the only situation I can really see is more veterans. I don't see any young talent actively wanting to go WWE to AEW. If they get released by WWE, okay, yeah, different story. Now you're looking for work, but I can't see anybody plotting like, well, my contract's coming up here with WWE. I can't wait to jump to Jacksonville. It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, we got a lot of folks in the chat here. Dylan Matthews with an interesting one says the Guns in WWE would be a good left field answer. I see Big John saying the Acclaimed would be good. Max Feldman saying the Lucha Brothers in WWE. Starks, I think, is one of the most popular ones that people are saying. Shinsuke to AEW from Beer Money would be quite interesting. And of course, Wardlow's name has come up quite a bit. Fernando with AJ Styles, I think, is another to AEW. A lot of interesting names here. Brody King as well. Sami Zayn and KO making the switch. One that stands out to me that I'd like to see, Jimmy, before we get your thoughts, is Bayley. I'd like to see Bayley make the jump to AEW because I think that AEW has a lot of folks in their women's division that need someone that they can work with. And I think Bayley has proven that she can work at the top of a card. She can work at the bottom of the card. She can work in the middle of the card. I think she would give them such flexibility. That would be a very big coup for AEW if they were to get her going from AEW to WWE. I feel like Ricky Starks is the first name everyone's going to say, but I'd like to see Sammy Guevara. I think Sammy Guevara going to NXT, and he's proven he's physically capable. He's great at doing stuff in the ring, and he's good on a microphone. But I'd like to see what old HBK does with him if he had some time with him. Jimmy, those are my thoughts. Who would you like to, if you could make a couple switches? Who would you like to switch?
See, that's an interesting question, and very much like Justin, he's inside my head right now because, like you said, Justin, making the move from WWE to AEW, I don't see young talent going over there because, like you said, they would be fighting for a spot, and if you do bring a veteran over that is very recognizable to the mass audience, are they going for the paycheck? Do they want to help young talent and help elevate other talent, which I hate to say it, have a problem doing. And like you mentioned, Bailey, for example, Jack, she'd be a perfect fit there, but unfortunately they don't invest enough time in the women's division. As much as they've got some great women talent over there, they don't invest that time because they don't have that much time on television to present them. I mean, for me, it's fun to look at other guys go the other way. Daniel Garcia, props to him because he wants to improve and he wants to be a sponge, and he gets it that it's much more than just the look, though. He does want the look, but he also wants to be able to talk. And that's where the money is in bringing people in. That's an interesting one. Again, Wardlow is obviously a guy that fits in their wheelhouse. That's for sure. But other names outside of both companies that I'm looking at, it made me think when you say free agents, I'm thinking like a Jacob Fatu, because there's a perfect guy that could fit in with the bloodline storyline. And someone that could come out of left field and surprise everybody, kind of like Solo did at first. You know what I mean? And one guy from TNA that I'd like to really see get a spotlight is a Josh Alexander. I think he's a guy that has all the tools. He can talk, but give him a little bit of time at the Performance Center working with some people to get that inside out of him, if that makes any kind of sense, where he can present him on that mic, because I know the guy very well. He's got it. And, and that's like outside, I'm out left field thinking right now, putting him in there. But of course, the big one that I'd like to see maybe jump ship is someone like a MJF, because man, oh man, for a guy that young, he gets it and he's money.
Well, and we saw, WWE released a lot of talent during the pandemic times for budget cuts or one thing or another. So AEW had a lot of, Andrade, Malachi Black, Keith Lee, Adam Cole, Bryan Danielson. They acquired a lot of the younger talent. I know Bryan's not young, but you know what I mean. But look, Andrade didn't go well. He's back to WWE. Malachi Black, it's been hit or miss. Keith Lee, come on, it was a big deal the week he came back, and then it's been. So you're like, it's been proven. Now top guy, you're Christian, Copeland, whatever. They're sustaining where they are as being the veteran legends that they are. But the young talent, whatever, it is just a hard. That's just so damn busy. Somebody that's at AEW that I like to see get a second chance with WWE is Big Bill, is Big Cass. He's better. He's in better health than he's ever been. Last time he was in WWE, he was dealing. I think he was dealing with some things which have been documented. He also was teamed with Enzo, and Enzo's his own polarizing personality. So you sometimes, for better than worse, guilty by association, have to deal with that. So I would like to see him come back, Big Bill as Big Cass, and with his newfound health and clarity, and the guy's a talent. I'd love to see him get a second shot in WWE somewhere along the line. He's still young enough; it's worthwhile.
Yeah, I feel like Big Bill is someone who AEW should start focusing on as one of their top guys. I think why they have him. I think he looks the part. Whenever he's talked, he's been great. And yeah, I don't know. He's someone, if I was AEW, I'd be like, let's use him quite a bit. Yeah, with Bailey, I kind of circling back to that. I think one of the reasons I'd like her to be on there is she gives you the flexibility to start using a lot more of the women's wrestlers who maybe need to be in the ring with someone so we can figure out who they are and learn who they are and help jumpstart that division. It's an optimistic pick that hoping they'll use her in that proper way.
Sorry to cut you off there, Jack, but something else was mentioned. I'm not sure which one of you did, but you talk about AEW not getting enough reps in, where the talent doesn't get enough reps in because they don't really do house shows and that sort of thing. And it's my understanding that they're allowing the talent now to go out and work other promotions. If I'm not correct.
Well, they've been doing that for a little bit.
But I think they've given them a little more freedom now. If I'm mistaken, somebody correct me, please. But if that's the case, let them get their reps in. That's the biggest thing, especially, in the old days, as I like to call them. We were on the road every week. We got it in every week, and we tried stuff on the house shows. The guys tried stuff on the house shows and see what works, see what doesn't, try different things, and they're not getting the opportunity to do that. So now maybe if they get out a little bit more, they would have the opportunity to try to do different things and see what works in front of a live crowd, especially now in 2024, where the crowd is a little different from back in the day.
Well, in a fresh live crowd too, because if you're at an AEW taping, they might put you on Rampage or Dark or one of the other shows. Those are all usually filmed after they do Dynamite or after they do Collision. Those crowds are burnt out. Some of those crowds are burnt out at that point. It's tough.
Yeah, it is tough. They're very long days for those, and getting the reps is good. Plus, if they get to work at other places, people get to see them in other companies, and that helps everybody. I do want to say that I think that Daniel Garcia is a future star, though. I feel like that's. I am hanging my hat on that. I think he's very young still. I think that's the thing that when people start judging him now, they're like, oh, well, he's not a star right now. It's like, guy's 25. He's going to be just fine. But I think he gets it, and I think he's going to be a big star. And so I think big things are coming from him. I do want to say, I can't remember if I've said this before, but Jacob fought too. I got to, I do ring announcing here, and I ring announced him at PCW Ultra. And when you're a ring announcer, it's an interesting thing because you get to, I feel like you feel the crowd differently. Oh, I guess, Jimmy, you've been in the ring too. Anyone who's been in the ring when someone comes out, I guess, you feel the crowd in a different way. Let me tell you, when he comes out, that energy changes when his music hits and he comes through. Jacob Fatu has an energy that's different than everyone else when he's on a show. It's incredible. So I would love to see him on a big stage. But yeah, anyone in the chat, that's your question. Who, if you could fantasy, let's just say swap two people, AEW to WWE, what would be the spiciest, most interesting one to see happen? Update on Netflix's documentary on Vince McMahon, everybody. This is interesting. Dave Meltzer on Wrestling Observer Radio said, quote, I haven't heard anything about the release of the doc. This changes the whole doc 100%. They were done. It was going to be out very, very soon. I don't know how it can possibly be out very, very soon now. At this time, Netflix has yet to make any statement on the status of the project. However, it's worth noting that WWE recently signed a deal to bring Raw to Netflix starting in January 2025, days before Grant's allegations emerged. Justin, this is kind of an interesting spot that Netflix is in. Obviously, whatever they had planned for this documentary, you can't release it without some of this information now, but also, do they want to release a documentary that's honest and fair about a guy who built the company they just signed a bunch of money to have on their programming?
I don't think you want to release that right now, but not because of the political line you might be alluding to. You don't want to release it now anytime soon because there are many more chapters now to come. There's no point in trying to go ahead and get something together in a final edit to come out sometime in 2024, because I have a feeling, unfortunately, 2024 is going to have many more headlines involving Vince, and this is not over in terms of more allegations, in terms of maybe activity he has on his end side illegally. So there's no point in putting anything out because you might as well wait now until the full story's done, at least until you think it's done, whatever that means, whether that's him going to court, selling out of court, wait until he's no longer on Earth. I don't know, but at this point, it seems ridiculous to even try to put out a documentary when we're coming on the stretch probably of some more drama, and that's stuff that you'd want to have documented, and so don't put out anything right now.
Yeah, Jimmy, I feel like even the Raw signing aside, if you have a documentary on this guy, you just can't be releasing it right now. There's too much stuff that's happening that is stuff you can't leave out and claim to be a documentary about somebody.
No, absolutely. There's, like you said, too much stuff still going on. And if you're going to make a documentary about somebody, it has to be full and complete. And that's where it's kind of hard for Netflix now. They have to walk that fine line where they have to decide, when do we put this documentary out when everything is all said and done, like Justin said. And then again, we have to be fair and honest in our documentary, or else it looks like we're skirting the issue, so to speak. And you don't want to appear to be doing that in front of the audience, because then people will say, "Oh, look, they're just pandering to the guys who just signed with them." So you got to be careful with that line as well. But I think, like you guys said, they need to be fair and honest with the documentary, make it complete. And I hate to put it this way, complete the story when the story's told. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's because even I think even retroactively, it makes everything changed, because now you can't tell certain parts of the timeline of the story without mentioning certain things and certain people and whatnot. Or even if they hadn't signed with this WWE thing, I think if you watched any documentary and they left out something that big, like if you watched a documentary on Michael Jackson and they left out certain things, you'd say, how can you do a documentary on this guy without mentioning once the allegations against him, Well,
and also, Jack, I mean, if you're Netflix, what started out as looking like, okay, this is a newsworthy project to do a documentary. I mean, look, we've seen Netflix and other streaming services do this before, where there's the real documentary, but then they do a mini series or a movie or something. I think back to the Renee Zellweger started, I think it was a Netflix thing, where she played they take real life true crimes or whatever, and they have actors and they make a mini series out of it. And so, you hate to talk about and think about making money off of allegations and accusations that are as serious as that are the ones that have been levied against Vince, but that is the entertainment business, unfortunately, that stuff like that's going to happen. So I wouldn't be surprised if Netflix also sits back and goes, do we want to make a documentary? Do we want to make a movie? Do we want to do both?
Yeah, we had a one interesting point in here. Stu Jersey says, release it and call it part one. I mean, if you want to try to get two of them. Dylan says the documentary won't see the light of day for at least 3 years. Adam saying can't see Netflix releasing it now. And Jeff saying the documentary will never see the light of day. I feel bad.
It will.
It will eventually.
It will, yeah.
One way or another, it's too easy to just say, okay, well, here it is. But I feel bad for the people who've spent so much time working on it. And I mean, I can only imagine all the time and effort you put into it, only to find out that, oh yeah, everything that you did needs to be redone now. Right. So that'd be a bummer. Something that is getting released is some new events for these big shows coming up. WWE is announcing another free press event for Elimination Chamber and a 5-day fan event for WrestleMania 40. The press event for Elimination Chamber sounds like it's going to be like one of those press conference things, similar to what they did with The Rock and the Bloodline. And then the 5-day WrestleMania 40 event is a Fanatics thing where they're selling a bunch of merch and stuff like that. Jimmy, this is just, I think, showing that WWE is absolutely thinking outside of the box here, and it's about more than a wrestling show. It's merchandising, it's sales, it's tickets, it's media. It really shows how big WWE is.
It is, and that's what it's big business. It's called the wrestling business for a reason, and WWE is capitalizing on all the platforms that they can right now. And I think this is a great idea for them, because now it makes WrestleMania. We already have 2 nights of WrestleMania. And then the night before, night 1, you have SmackDown. Then you got the post WrestleMania Raw. What more can we add? If you add these, like you said, where they have the merchandise things and these little things. I'd like to see more stuff like they have the One Dead Man show. I'd like to have other superstars come back, maybe some whether they're former superstars or current superstars, have them come out on stage and tell some stories and take some fan interaction questions, in a fun kind of way, as opposed to like, hey, tell me about this and tell me about that. We don't need to get into the dirt kind of stuff. Have fun with it. Let people enjoy it and make it like a vacation destination where they spend a week in Philly or Las Vegas, which is rumored for next year, which would be great as long as you don't have a gambling problem, but Yeah, make it fun. And that's what it seems like they're doing. They're making it fun, and they're making it a destination for people to go and enjoy more than just a pro wrestling show.
Yeah, Justin, I'm hearing this news, and I can't help but think that maybe WWE is stealing the NFL's playbook, and the fact that it feels like they're trying to make that season year round, whether it's the combine and the draft and all this stuff that happens throughout the year. And of course, the merchandising is crazy, but NFL makes a ton of money. I mean, it's the business, right?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, the press events, especially as they have so many of the premium live events this year, international, these press events are big because now if they're gonna do one in Australia, that's a lot of Australia. I mean, look, and Australia is a big country. There's a lot of media in Australia and there's a lot of media that never gets to have. They might get a wrestler or two that comes there to do a press junket to promote an event, but the fact they're going to have the entire company there, that's a big deal. So it makes sense to do this. I expect them to do this for Backlash. I expect, which I think is in Paris, maybe it's in France. I expect them to do it for all these events this year. It's smart. And then the fan event. I don't know. You're right, Jack. It very much is like NFL. I'll need to see it. I mean, because they already had access for all these years. They always had WWE Access on Mania Weekend, which was a fan fest, and a lot of the stuff sounds like stuff you would get at Access. Obviously, it's being branded now with Fanatics, so I'll be curious to what level of enhancement they do, that they build off of what Access was to what this event's going to be. But WWE, they so rarely swing and miss at these things. They usually knock these things out of the park. They're just they're so well versed in it. And lately, in the last couple of years, with Nick Khan, with TKO, and all the resources they have, we saw it tonight on Raw. They know how to do this, and this is in their wheelhouse. This is why they are number one.
Yeah, and access and stuff like that is such a cool thing, and all the merch they have now and the stuff like this. Even if you don't have tickets to the show, to access this Fanatics thing, I think is gonna be fun, and you're probably gonna spend a bunch of money, but you're gonna be like, this is super cool. And when I was there in Dallas, I spent a bunch of money, and I was like, I'm not going to buy anything. I'm just going to go check it out. I walked out with a bunch of merch because I'm a sucker, and that's what I do. But,
I'm just lucky I still have a connection there in the merchandising department. Pumpkinhead, I'm talking right at you, brother.
I need to get Pumpkinhead's number because yeah, there's so much cool merch now. But yeah, I think it's great, and I don't know. I think it's fun, especially with. I always say that's how you can't understand how big WWE is, in my opinion. I probably don't understand, but until you go to WrestleMania week and you see what WWE does to a city during WrestleMania week, and you go to these Fanatic events and you go to the Access, or you go to this stuff, and you see that this is like WWE is so big and is such a monster. And like I've said last year, they came to Los Angeles and took over one of the biggest entertainment cities in the world, and they dominated it for a week. It really is like you see that and you go, oh, this is a totally different level than any other kind of thing out there. And that's not putting any other wrestling company down or anything like that. It's just, this is a monster. Mm-hmm. This is huge what they do. It's really impressive, and it's cool. And I think everyone should go check it out if they can. I'll probably be there in Philly, so come see me and buy me a shirt.
No, trust me. I'll get Pumpkinhead to get in touch with you.
Okay. Yeah. I'll take all the merch, baby. Someone who I don't know if he's going to be at WrestleMania Fanatics. Maybe he'll be hanging around, but CM Punk has hinted that he's got 6 to 8 months to heal. During an interview with UFC on TNT Sports, Punk said, quote, "We're thinking maybe 6 to 8 months, but I'm not really in a rush to get back to compete. I'm in a rush to get healthy. I'm in a rush to get better. The sooner I do that, the better I'll be back when I come back." Jimmy, I see you nodding your head. That's the right attitude to have, right?
Absolutely. He seems to be in a different place right now. That's the beauty of it. He seems to be genuine with his gratitude and happy to be back with WWE. And you can, at least I feel it. It feels real to me. He's not just putting on a brave face and making it look good. And the other thing too is you don't have to completely forget about him for that time. We saw him do at the kickoff, the WrestleMania kickoff. He was on the panel with Michael Cole and everybody. He's a hell of a talker. That's in his wheelhouse. He can do that kind of stuff until he's ready and healthy to go. But there is that time you want to keep him off television, so when you do bring him back, it feels special. So you gotta be careful with the timing of that sort of thing. And I think we alluded to it last week, Jack, where the whole thing with Drew, we talk about free agents. Has he signed? Has he not signed? What's going on here? And we'll talk about that for Drew as we go on. But what about if the storyline continues and Drew does happen to sign back with WWE? Let's say Drew were to challenge a Seth Rollins. I'm fantasy booking as usual.
Yeah.
Were to challenge, win the Elimination Chamber and go on to challenge Seth Rollins at WrestleMania and come out of there with the championship. And then he has this long run with the championship. And when Punk is ready to come back, you've got your ready-made rivalry right there, big time title situation with Punk and Drew McIntyre, the guy who took him out at, Royal Rumble. So, he's I like his attitude anyways. That's for sure.
Yeah, Justin, CM Punk is someone who Jimmy makes an interesting point. He's one of the people you really have to weigh yourself weigh how you use him wisely, because he could absolutely hop on commentary. He could be on an on-air role. He's great at that. But do you kind of want us to not see him so when he comes back, it feels special? Very interesting in how you play CM Punk now.
Yeah, there's something to that. I mean, I think it's smart. Again, certain press events have him be present. He's still part of your company. Utilize him where you can, and for those type of purposes, for media and for exposure. But yeah, to a point, you keep him off TV also, because absence makes the heart grow fonder. It's going to make that pop that much bigger when he is back. If you're him, he's right. Get back and be healthy. Whether it's 6 months, 8 months, 9 months, come back to where you feel you're at your best. And also look at the calendar. What's the point of rushing back and being ready for October if you want to take 6 or 8 more weeks and be ready closer to next year's Mania or Survivor Series? You know what I mean? Like, pick your spot on the calendar where it makes the most sense. Don't just come back the day that you're officially cleared. Come back when it makes the most sense. Come back where the money's there. So, yeah, I mean, and then it sucks that plans change, and he came back with so much momentum, and then seemingly got hurt on such a weird. He was taking a DDT, and he tore the triceps. It's a very weird injury to get from that, but it happened. It sucks, but now that it's happened, we all can look forward to. Wow, we still have a Drew versus Punk match to look forward to eventually. Maybe we have a Seth versus Punk match to look forward to. Maybe we have a Cody versus, you start fantasy booking and it gets you excited, and it's great to have that in the bank down the line.
Yeah. And, yeah, I agree completely. I mean, so save it until it's really going to be a good, one of the big shows, Great Balls of Fire, Stomping Grounds, save it for one of those. Taboo Tuesday, if they bring
You laugh, but didn't a Great Balls of Fire had no, that wasn't Cena and Roman. Maybe that was great. One of those random ones had Cena and Roman, I think. So
they could put together. I'm going to show my age. I was going to say a DVD, but they should put a best up greatest matches from random shows that weren't supposed to be the big shows, because they got a few of them, I bet, on those one-off weird show. Judgment Day, Ricky's out of our saying that wasn't the big ones. We're like, wow, that was a really great match. Wow.
No Way Out.
Coliseum home video.
But we had I want to touch on this as we get into the Raw review here. And again, folks, this is the new format here. We're going to be a lot more news heavy up top and then get into the key points of the show for Raw. Again, like, comment, share, subscribe. Let me know your thoughts on this new format. But we had a quick call. I feel like this is kind of newsy, so I'm going to say it here. UFC fighter Michael Chandler called out Conor McGregor on air in WWE. Justin, when TKO first started, the thoughts of the crossovers were happening. Now it's not just an idea, it's real. A UFC fighter called out another UFC fighter on WWE TV.
Yeah, I mean, this felt like WWE was just, they were hosting the party and everybody's invited. We had UFC fighters, we had bull riders, Netflix execs are boozing up in the front row. It was a good old time. And this is brand synergy. That's what, and we're going to get more of this. I absolutely expect there to be future UFC pay-per-views where said WWE talent is going to be interviewed in between a match and is going to cut a promo and make a challenge. Tune in this Monday on Raw. I want to take on, and why not? Why would you not? It just makes too much sense when everybody's under the same umbrella. Use the platforms. So yeah, this was entertaining. This was I don't know. I don't follow UFC nearly as close as I used to, but something tells me I'll kind of be forced to now by the TKO ownership that I'm going to probably have to pay more attention to UFC one way or the other.
Yeah, watching this at first, I didn't know if he was supposed to take the microphone, so I was really interested. Like, oh, was he supposed to actually? Because he kind of did it quickly, and so I didn't know if maybe Samantha Irvin got the mic stolen from her. But then after it was done, I was like, oh, this was part of the part of the gig, Jimmy. I don't know about you. I'm sold on the fight. I want to see what Connor says now. And if you're Connor, you got to respond. And I don't know. This is great. I feel like this is just good all around. I'm excited about it.
No, I am too. They got me pumped for it. And he cut a very wrestling style promo, which was actually pretty good. You know what? I give him credit. Michael Chandler, good. Props to you, man, because it's not easy coming from that world where you don't really speak unless you're in an interview kind of situation. For him to grab the mic like that and, go off on Conor McGregor the way he did, like you're dodging me and all this kind of stuff. Again, it's one of those situations where talking people in front of their television sets to buy the pay-per-view or there's, computer screens or buy a ticket to go see it live if it's near you or whatever the case may be. He sold me, that's for sure.
Yeah, Max Feldman says, I think WWE and UFC is a perfect match. I agree, because I also think now it'd be so much easier to see maybe some UFC guys make the transition over to WWE. And I don't know if there's any interest on the other side, but if Chad Gable said he wanted to have a MMA match, I'd be down to watch that. I'd be super into that. Because a lot of those guys do have the background in amateur wrestling and whatnot. So I'd be absolutely excited about that. So this was just a very cool thing. And Justin, to your point, like you said, man, the stars were out. I was like, Anaheim, look at you flexing the celebrity appeal here. You got more than the Mighty Ducks, I'll tell you that. Apparently there's a lot of bull writing that happens there. I learned as I was watching.
Well, and TKO owns the PBR, right? That's the bull riding league. I think TKO
do they really?
I think they do. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, well,
that's why we saw that cowboy. Because they own that too.
I do know they do a lot of that there in that building. In that they do a lot of the bull riding there. So cool stuff, though. I enjoyed it. Let's get into the actual wrestling side of the show, though. I'm going to start. I know we're going to kind of go in order of the important stuff. Personally, I felt the start of the show was really the big moment, in my opinion. Cody Rhodes versus Drew McIntyre, main event level opening match. It's a banger of one until Jimmy Uso and Solo Sikoa get involved, helping Drew get the win. Post-match, Cody says he's fine. Drew says he's not a hypocrite. He just thinks big picture. Justin, this was so good to me as I was looking through all the different ways to look at this. Drew gets a win going into Elimination Chamber, and Cody's still protected. But I feel like the biggest thing here is the story of, if Cody can't beat Drew in the bloodlines at ringside, how's he going to beat Roman Reigns?
Yeah, and then later we saw Seth just kind of walk into that trainer's room and just kind of look at him like, hey, dude, I'm here. If you would just take me up on it. There was a lot to like about this. Really good match, really good start to Raw. This, this was well done, and it's well done because you have Cody, who we all know, who just won the Rumble 2 years in a row. He's calling his shot. He's going to fight Roman again for the title. Normally, when you're the babyface on the road to Mania, you don't lose a one-on-one match on Monday Night Raw. But he did, but it was okay. It felt like it didn't hurt him. And because they chose to do it the way they did, to me, it is basically the stamp that Drew McIntyre is also going to Mania and he's winning this damn chamber. Because why else would you even make the point of doing this and having Drew win unless you're like, oh, Drew's got to win this because he's getting ready to go to the chamber and win.
Yeah, Drew definitely seems like he's gassed up to win this thing. Jimmy, I want your thoughts on all this. And also, we're supposed to hate. Drew is so well written. I don't want to say written, but like his character is so great. The fact that he is a hypocrite, literally, with this. But his whole speech afterwards, like, no, I'm big picture. I need to save this company. And I wanted to stop it, but I can't think of me. I've got to win this match so I can go on and be the champion to save this brand.
That's the beauty of it. This incarnation of Drew McIntyre is the best incarnation I have seen from him, but not only just from him, this is top level stuff coming out of him right now. And like Justin said, it looks like he's on a path to WrestleMania for a big match, especially coming out of Elimination Chamber. Obviously, it seems like he's the favorite. Let's put it that way in the betting odds to come out of there, with the opportunity at WrestleMania. But the other thing too is for the babyface, someone like a Cody Rhodes suffering his first pinfall in a match since he lost to Roman Reigns last year at WrestleMania. And that is a huge deal because the babyface, in order for people to really get behind him, have to overcome adversity. And this is a big hurdle for him to overcome now with the bloodline and that sort of thing. It's telling a hell of a story. And the other beautiful thing I loved about this match, like not only did they have a banger of a match in ring style, but I love the camera work where they took close-ups of their faces showing emotion, showing the guy selling. They were telling stories with their face, with their eyes, little things like that. I know they tried to show it a little bit with the telestrator after the match, which kind of bugged me because it looked too Pictionary, if you know what I mean. They didn't have to go that far. All they had to do was, bring it to light. And Michael Cole's been doing a fabulous job of telling us about the little things that are going on. They didn't need that. But other than that, I thought, what a hell of a way. They always say the two most important matches on a show are the opening and how you close. And they opened with a banger. And you're right. It could have closed the show and made people go, oh, man. But then we wouldn't have got that good stuff from Drew afterwards.
Yeah. I mean, I think in this case, they did it in the right order. But this could have been a pay-per-view match or a premium live event match. Justin, I want your thoughts on the telestrator tonight. Did you like that being added? I felt like it was fun at first, then eventually I was kind of like, okay, I get it.
No, and this is not like those who remember Bobby the Brain Heenan used to do the brain scan. He used to draw,
yeah.
But no, I didn't like it. And I'm a fan of Pat's, and but it just didn't. That was a miss. Sorry, we tried it. They tried. There's a lot of things. There's a lot of things visually that's been refreshing about Raw, especially tonight. We saw them that shot again where the camera goes from outside, inside, through the concession, into the arena. We saw the camera come back from break coming down the aisleway from the visually, it is really a refreshing show. All the different things they're trying. Jack, I saw you tweet about they're showing the 2K24 ratings and what they're going to be in the video game. A lot of fun elements. They're not all going to be winners. We can put the telestrator away.
Yeah, I feel like the telestrator, that'd be one of those things they bust out for one replay every couple of weeks as for someone that they wanted to make fun of, or a goofy slip on a banana peel bad guy does something and he wants to draw on it. But every replay, I don't think we need it that much. But I like the 2K ratings. Everyone in the chat, let me know about your thoughts on the 2K ratings. It made me I liked it, but at the same time I was like, Drew's only an 89. There's no way he could beat 93 Cody Rhodes.
Here's the thing about the ratings. The ratings were fun. Drew and Cody both ranked pretty well, right?
Yeah.
Gunther and Jey Uso, I think, were both equally rated 90.
Yeah.
But then when you get into the 8-man tag and you're showing DIY, Truth and Miz versus Judgment Day, and you got some guys that are in the 70s or 60s on ratings, I'm like, oh, what? Whose favors are we doing here for this?
Yeah, it was. Yeah. Only show the people who are gonna have good ratings. Don't show the people who are struggling.
I don't want to play with Tommaso Ciampa if he's a 71. What are you doing?
It's Never mind.
That is so funny. That's a great point too. That's so funny.
Hey, everybody in the chat, let us know what our ratings would be.
Yeah.
If we're unlockable, downloadable characters, what's our rating?
Yeah, do the whole Wrestling Inc. crew. Let us know. Let us know everything. Issa's going to be a 99, but the rest of us are done for. We're going to be at that. I do want to say, this is just a personal thing. I want to give a shout out to Lucas Riley, who is a local fella here, wrestles for Santino Brothers Championship Wrestling. He was the doctor that was helping out Cody Rhodes at the show tonight. So cool to see him on WWE Raw. I'm first of many, I'm sure, for Lucas Riley. Jey Uso in the main event had a match with Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship. Back and forth, as we expect. Jay's about to get the win, and then the bell rings prematurely, and it's Jimmy Uso. There's a lot of shenanigans. Eventually, Gunther gets the win, and Jimmy has now cost Jay 2 championship matches. As the resident Jimmy on our team, Jimmy Korderas. Man, I threw out a heater of a prediction. I thought that Jay was going to do it. I hung some onions. I put it out there, and I was totally wrong, Jimmy. But Gunther gets the win. What were your thoughts about this one?
No, I like the match. I love the way they set up the finish because, like a couple of weeks ago in AEW, where they did the time limit draw with the referee and the timing on that one, I thought the timing on this one was really good. And the other thing I like too, we talked about, Justin, you talked about camera angles. When the camera didn't just when they went to that camera, they didn't just show him ringing the bell. The camera swung around to show him ringing the bell. So it looked very unexpected as opposed to that's the spot that we were trying to shoot. I love that aspect of it. And they, like for you, Jack, they got you. You absolutely thought after 5 spears and a splash, that's got to be it. He can't kick out of that, And then they came up with a creative way to get out of that. And then you set up another tune in to find out what happens next with the brothers, the brotherly rivalry, and that could lead to a brother versus brother match at WrestleMania. You talk about big matches. Yes, I'd love to see Jay with the Intercontinental Championship, but at the same time, wrestling your brother at WrestleMania has got to be a big deal for these two guys, So it clicked. And I talked earlier, not to ramble on about this, about the camera work, picking up guys' emotions and selling, and both guys selling well, and Gunther with his frustrations with not being able to get past Jay. It just worked. Again, another match that clicked for me.
Justin, I meant to tweet that Jay was going to win tonight because I thought he was going to win via DQ, but I messed up and said win the title tonight. But look, I stand by my predictions. I messed up, but I'm sticking to it. I was going to delete it. I was like, I'm just going to delete it. I said, no, I'm not going to be delete tweet guy. I'm going to leave it up there for the world to see. Man of my word.
Look, he had you there for a minute. It made you believe you're in Anaheim, big market, big night, main event. It made you believe there for a second. Yeah, I mean, just a solid match, really good match, and I echo everything Jimmy said. Specifically the camera swinging around to get Jimmy, those type of things. It's like a subtle thing, but it makes you in that moment be like, is this supposed to happen? Like it gives you that moment of like it's live TV. And I mean, it's somebody literally just lean over the barricade and start banging the bell. Like, everything was well done. I really can't add much more other than to say, Jay versus Jimmy. These guys who have been, they're one of the longest tenured. Like they're right there with Miz and Truth, and in terms of longest tenured talents, and obviously have had their Hall of Famers as a tag team. It's pretty awesome to say they're now going to probably looks like get a WrestleMania singles match against each other. That is pretty cool. So I think once they do that, I know they're both still chasing singles titles, but if they have a banger one-on-one at Mania, I mean, God, you could call it a day and wrap up your career and go home if you wanted to. I mean, you've had a hell of a run at that point.
Yeah, and one more quick thing, again, talking about camera angles and gotcha moments. After the camera that shot after the spear It wasn't the wide shot showing the entire audience. It was a ground level shot, like from one of the handhelds on the floor. And you could see the crowd behind him. Once he hit the splash, they all stood up because they bought into it too. And, it just worked perfectly.
One of the other visuals that was fun, if you catch it, you know how when Jay comes out and he does his up and down.
Yeah.
McAfee is on the table doing it like he normally does. But if you go back and watch it, McAfee's doing it. And then Gunther locks eyes with Pat. And Pat goes and just freezes until Gunther stopped looking at him. It was hilarious if you catch it.
Yeah, it's Pat McAfee's a treasure. He's so good out there on commentary, and Cole's one of the best. By the way, Rocky says Triple J is 100, so that's good to see.
Oh, thank you, Rocky.
Justin 89, Jack 69, Jimmy 99. Why am I down at the lower end? Bernie says Justin's 83, Jack 79, Jimmy's 87, Issa 65, Flobo 78, Matt Kuhn 45. Glenn 77, Raj 37, Drunk Raj 96.
Drunk Raj is one of those limited edition downloads.
Yeah, you got to get the Road to Wrestling Inc. version for the Drunk Raj version. By the way, I meant to shout this out. Dylan Black Kelly says Jack Farmer's crazy to me. The first person I always say, "Am I crazy?" He's the first one to say Jack's crazy. I guess I am. It's true. We got a few things for the women's side of things for Elimination Chamber. First up, we had a interview with Nia Jax and Rhea Ripley that was run by Michael Cole, where Ripley basically talks about where she came from and who she is now. Nia says she's bigger, so she's going to crush her. But then we also get the Becky Lynch, Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez, Naomi, Tiffany Stratton, Bianca Belair trash talk segment before, again, Nia Jax clears house and crushes everybody. Justin, this is when you have a big kind of matchup like this coming up, everyone does the thing where they walk out. I want to ask you, who won the promo battle of all these folks? Besides Nia Jax, because she crushed everyone. But in your opinion, who scored the most points in the promo department?
It's hard to say. I mean, all the ladies, they all look like stars. They really do. I mean, we were a big night for Raquel coming back, winning the Battle Royal. She's out there talking trash. Bianca's so good at her trash talk. Becky is Becky. I mean, I don't really know who won. It's one of those things where I'm happy to see that there's so many of the ladies that look like stars and that they have this depth of talent. Nia Jax is a great opponent for Rhea. Rhea's going to get a huge pop in Australia. Nia is the perfect opponent. I mean, I expect Rhea to retain, but that's a great matchup for this event. Kind of like how I said with Drew though with the men's. I don't see. I don't have any argument for anybody else winning other than Becky. It just seemed that they're just kind of telling you that's what it's going to be, which is fine. So Becky, but Nia and Rhea's going to look good. But I mean, again, I got to say, Rhea, 2 weeks in a row now. 2 weeks in a row. They showed Judgment Day. They showed the 4 guys last week backstage. And they showed them again tonight backstage coming to the arena. And of course, they had a match. Rhea not in any of the. They are purposely distancing her from them. They are heels, and they're expecting Rhea to be the face in this situation with Nia and probably moving forward. Even if she does take on Becky and Mania, I think they're going to be contending with a split crowd. So yeah, but it was good. I enjoyed. Again, all the ladies look good. So it was nice to see.
Yeah, Jimmy. Of course, and also just to add in, there was the Last Chance Battle Royal. Raquel Rodriguez won that. Felt like as soon as she walked out, she was going to win it. I want to know your thoughts on the promos. I want to know your thoughts on who you thought won the promo battles here, and I want your thoughts on Raquel Rodriguez. Should she have been a mystery add-on, or was this the right way to bring her back? What was your thoughts on how they had her get a shot into the Elimination Chamber?
I thought it was interesting because you bring I saw. Did you tweet about it, about the Royal Rumble? being not so far long ago?
Yeah, I tweeted about that. Yeah, because it's the Royal Rumble was really just a month ago. We're basically doing another over-the-top battle royal.
Really, I kind of felt that way, other than the fact that there isn't a countdown and people come in at separate times because it is Raw and your time restraints, and that sort of thing. But as far as who won the battle, the battle of the promos, a tough one to call. All the ladies seem to be hitting all the right notes. I like the tone in Raquel's voice, though. She felt confident. Where you know what I mean, and that's what you need from someone like that. That you need to feel her confidence. That's in that respect, so to speak. But I would have liked to have seen her not have to win a battle royal to get there. But it just shows you the depth on the women's division too. There were a lot of ladies in there. They told some mini stories that maybe could be played out down the road and that sort of stuff. But the winner in this whole segment was Nia Jax. They just made her look invincible. So when that moment comes for Rhea Ripley in Australia, it'll make it just that much bigger.
I mean, I agree with. I know that I believe Becky Lynch is going to win the Chamber, and we're going to get Becky Lynch versus Rhea Ripley. That just feels like what's going to happen. But this is where WWE has done such a good job of. I kind of feel like Nia Jax could win it. I kind of feel like she could walk away the champion in Elimination Chamber, the way they've built her, and they're making me second guess and wonder and question. And that's really the beauty of wrestling, is when you know, but you're like, but do I know?
Well, you think Nia could beat Rhea this weekend?
I feel like the way they pushed her, if I was in Vegas, I wouldn't bet on Nia Jax. I would bet on Rhea Ripley, but there's this little voice in the back of my head. It's like, I don't know. Every step of the way, we keep thinking, well, Nia Jax isn't going to win this match. And then Nia Jax, she beats Becky Lynch. She beats everybody. She always goes over. I don't know. It wouldn't shock. It would shock me, but there's that little voice in the back of my head. I think she might be able to do it.
Yeah, it's all depending on how it's done too, if it were to happen. And then you go into Mania, because you look at the Elimination Chamber for the women's side, it's mostly baby faces in there, babyface women.
Mm-hmm.
So like you said, Justin, you will get that split crowd at WrestleMania. If it is Becky, if it is Bianca, if it is Raquel, you're going to have that split crowd at WrestleMania. And do you want that split crowd? If you don't, this may be a fix for it, but at the same time, Rhea should, if she is to lose that championship, it should be on a bigger platform, in my opinion.
Yeah, we'll see, but that I feel like there's so much stuff with like Cody and the bloodline that it's not getting the credit it deserves, this women's division world title picture, because it's absolutely stacked. I think that Bianca Belair got the biggest response from the crowd when she came out, but she came out last, so I don't know if that really counts. The last person always gets the biggest response. But that's kind of the big stuff. R-Truth, I guess the last thing we'll cover. R-Truth, I think, is done with the Judgment Day, Justin. At least I'm hoping. 8-man tag. Judgment Day gets the win. This has got to be over, right?
You think so, man. He got some of the loudest pops of the night.
Mm-hmm.
He comes in there, he gets the hot tag. He comes in there, he's doing all Cena's spots. I mean, he's just, I don't know what's next for him, but you got to keep him on TV. You got to find something for him.
Yeah. I don't know how the guys don't break up when, I think Damian Priest in a recent interview said he just can't, finds it hard to keep it together when he's doing stuff with Truth. And like you said, Justin, sorry to cut you off again, Jack, but he did get some of on the hot tag. He got a huge pop. And unfortunately, I hate to say it with all due respect, they did a hot tag to Tommaso Ciampa and crickets. And he did that spot too. They started to come when he did the spot where he looked like he was doing running the ropes drill back and forth. But, other than that, and doing the DX, stuff. But the line of the night from Truth when he was outside with Jackie and doing the interview, and he said he hadn't cried so much since the finale of This Is Us. I mean, I couldn't stop laughing. I mean, I didn't hear the rest of it because of that.
Yeah. It's he is so like, but Justin, to your point, I almost feel like you got to give him a title run or something. You got to put him.
I don't know about title run, but you just keep finding ways to have him on TV. He doesn't need to chase the IZ title or the US title, but just have him on TV. He's just so damn entertaining. I mean,
I don't know. R-Truth, it confused R-Truth versus Logan Paul, I think could be very entertaining for me individually.
Especially if they do a backstage segment where he's playing the ukulele and he's got the hat on him.
Yeah.
Now he thinks he's Kurt Angle or something. I don't know.
So that pretty much sums it up for us.
One more thing. Thank you. Chad Gable gets a win. Maybe this is hopefully the start of a little bit of a rise up the card for him and a little more serious tone to him too as well.
Yeah, it's as we sign off and as everyone comes through here, of course, everyone in the chat, like, comment, share, subscribe. Let me know your final thoughts on the show. But Jimmy, talk about that and where can we find you online? Final thoughts on the show, and I guess some of the other things that happened, the Chad Gable match and Ivar, if you want to talk about it. Andrade, Sami Zayn, Shinsuke, and New Day also had little moments. But any thoughts you want to cover for them?
Yeah, really quickly, Andrade, I like the slow build to him, put him on those vignettes, which they do really, really well, makes him feel intense. I like that. The Sami story, it's heartfelt, and it tells a great story. I just don't want to see it with Shinsuke go much further, let's put it that way. And overall, I thought the show delivered. You got eliminated. It's the go-home show for Elimination Chamber, and you got that big, what's dominated the conversation for the last 3-4 weeks now has been Cody, Rock, and Roman, and people are still talking about it. And even that video package they showed tonight, we didn't get to touch on that, but this was done for a reason. I believe it wasn't accidental. People are out there saying, "Oh, he didn't know it was just the one finger. He did this because he didn't know." No, there was a reason for it, and we stay tuned. We'll find out why. And you can find me here. Except for next week. I won't be here next week. Taking a little break. Unfortunately, won't be Triple J, but you can catch me here usually on Mondays and Wednesday nights, covering Raw and Dynamite respectively, and the Reffing It Up podcast with my good brother in stripes, Brian Hebner and RJ, who holds the glue together. We hit it every week, and we just had Shark Boy on, Shell, and this week we're going to have Joel Gertner, and yeah. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And of course, the Ref and Rants from Monday to Friday. They're very short on all my social media platforms. Having a little fun, just taking little critiques to, as I say, tighten the screws to not tear down, but trying to help. In my and all the views expressed on those are mine and mine alone.
Joel Gertner, man, when I was watching him growing up, he was one of my favorite parts. Like, what dirty little rhyme is he gonna say? I was so excited. Yeah, he was just at the perfect age for his brand of humor when he was in ECW, so it was perfect.
What thing is he gonna say that you should not repeat at school?
That we all are going to. I loved it. But Justin, where can we find you? Thoughts on the show? Any final thoughts on these other bits of the show that we didn't cover?
Yeah, no. Again, Andrade, I like it too. I like the vignettes. The overall the show. Actually, there was only literally 5 matches, I think, in the 3-hour show. So it was a lot of packages, interviews, whatever. But that's what it's a go home show. You're going to get that, especially when the show itself, Chamber, doesn't have a lot of matches. You got 2 matches that have 6 people each in it. So I thought overall it did its job. It was good. Felt like a big deal with all the stars there, as we talked about. So yeah, I'm ready for Chamber. I'm like I said, I think I know the winners of it, but I still want to see how it's executed. Still want to see how it comes off. And in terms of follow me at Just LaBar across all the socials here on Monday nights with you guys. every Sunday morning, 9 a.m. to noon, busted open for the full 3 hours is one of the hosts, which you can listen live to. And then usually most Friday mornings, I'm also on Busted Open with Dave Greca and Thunder Rosa. So plenty of wrestling to talk about right now.
Absolutely. And of course, you can find me at Real Jack Farmer across all social media. I'm going to be doing commentary for a show for Prestige on Sunday, and it is a banger of a show. We've got Mustafa Ali going to be in action against Mike Bailey. That's going to be a fun one. Jordan Grace is going to be there. Chris Sabian. Tiger Mask is going to be there. I'm going to call a match with Tiger Mask in it. That's going to be really cool. All available on IWTV on Sunday. Make sure to check that out. Also, make sure to follow at Wrestling Inc. for all your latest news. We're covering NXT tomorrow. Same channel right after the show. You know how it all works. But this group will be back together. Well, two of us will be back together next Monday, Jimmy. One of us can't show up. So one of us thinks that he's like the part-timers now that get to come in during the big shows. But
yeah, I'm on the Roman Reigns schedule now.
Yeah. Hold up the one, baby. Well, that does it for us, everybody. We'll see you all next time. Make sure to tune into the After NXT show tomorrow.